Suspense can make or break a story. It's the secret ingredient that keeps readers glued to the page, eagerly turning to the next chapter. In fact, studies show that stories with high levels of suspense are 3 times more likely to be finished by readers than those that lack it. Think about it, how many times have you stayed up late, unable to put down a book, just because you had to know what happens next? But here's something shocking: the key to suspense isn't just about making things happen fast. In fact, it's the opposite. According to the Journal of Applied Psychology, building tension through slow reveals and careful pacing actually hooks readers even more. Slow down the action and leave your audience wondering what's coming. That's how you keep them coming back for more. In this guide, you'll discover the secrets behind creating unrelenting suspense. You'll learn how to keep readers on the edge of their seats, even in the most unexpected ways. From crafting the perfect mystery to controlling the timing of your reveals, you'll get the inside scoop on how to master the art of suspense. So, are you ready to make your writing unforgettable? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Art of the Unseen. How to craft mystery without saying a word. Suspense thrives in the unknown. Sometimes, the best way to build tension is by not revealing everything. In fact, the most gripping stories often leave questions unanswered until the right moment. Think of Jaws by Peter Benchley. The shark isn't fully revealed until halfway through the movie, creating tension long before the first bite. This technique plays on curiosity, which is one of the most powerful emotions in storytelling. When you withhold critical information, you allow the audience's imagination to fill in the blanks, often in more terrifying ways than you could describe. It's like telling someone a secret but leaving out the most important part. The lack of closure creates a constant pull for the audience, making them want to keep reading. In writing, this could mean focusing on atmosphere over action, describing feelings of dread rather than revealing the cause. A great example is the classic suspense of the dark alley. What's lurking out of sight becomes more frightening than what's in plain view. Chapter 2: Pacing like a pro. How to stretch time for maximum tension. Pacing is more than just the speed at which your story moves. It's how you control the rhythm of tension. One simple technique is slowing down the action at key moments. In a study by the University of California, researchers found that suspense is most effective when events slow down just before a climax. This technique stretches time, forcing the reader to savor every word. Ever notice how movies often slow down action sequences to ramp up the excitement? Writers can do the same. You might stretch a single sentence to describe a character's movements or thoughts in agonizing detail, making the reader feel the weight of every second. Another pacing trick is shortening sentences at critical moments. Short, punchy sentences build urgency and create a sense of speed. In suspense, it's all about playing with the audience's perception of time. Too much information too fast dulls the tension, but when you stretch it out, every detail becomes more intense. Chapter 3: The Power of the What If. Turning the ordinary into the unthinkable. The question, what if, is a subtle but powerful tool in suspense writing. By asking this simple question, you introduce an element of possibility that twists normal events into something ominous. Imagine you're writing a scene where a character walks home alone at night. If you simply describe the walk, it's just an ordinary situation. But when you ask, what if something is following them? The tone shifts instantly. This moment turns every sound into something to fear. By framing an ordinary event with uncertainty, you create a sense of unease. Great suspense writers know how to tap into the universal fears we all carry. According to The Psychology of Suspense by Dr. Elizabeth L. Byrne, suspense is most effective when it taps into these primal fears. What if there's a threat you can't see? What if you can't escape? Those questions turn the ordinary into the terrifying. By weaving in these what-if scenarios, you constantly engage the reader's imagination, making them second-guess everything in your story. Don't forget to subscribe to get the latest tips and tricks on writing better stories and mastering suspense in your work. Chapter 4: Red Herrings and Twists. Crafting deceptions that keep them guessing. One of the best ways to create suspense is through misdirection, leading your reader down one path, only to reveal it was the wrong one. A red herring is a classic tool for this. By introducing misleading details, you build false assumptions, which make the eventual twist even more surprising. Think of how Agatha Christie masterfully led readers through multiple suspects in Murder on the Orient Express, only to reveal the shocking truth. The key is to make the red herring seem real, so much so that the audience doesn't question it until the twist hits. Another trick is to use unreliable narrators. In The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, the protagonist's confusion and memory gaps mislead the reader, making the final revelation all the more shocking. Studies on storytelling reveal that people are more invested in a story when they feel surprised by the ending. Psychology today suggests that twists work because they exploit our natural tendency to form patterns and assumptions. When those patterns are broken, it jars us and makes the story far more memorable. Chapter 5: The Senses of Suspense. Using descriptions to build an uneasy atmosphere, suspense isn't just about what's happening, it's about how it feels. Sensory details play a huge role in creating an atmosphere of unease. Descriptions of sights, sounds, and smells can subtly make a scene feel tense. The trick is to choose sensory details that suggest something's not quite right. Instead of simply saying the wind is blowing, describe how the air feels cold, the leaves rustle unnaturally, or how a distant howl keeps echoing. Each of these details adds layers of tension, making the environment feel alive and unpredictable. According to a study published in the Journal of Creative Writing, sensory descriptions can elevate a story's emotional intensity by 40%. A famous example is Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House, where the unsettling atmosphere of the house is as important as the events that occur within it. Sensory writing works because it taps into our own experiences. A slight smell of mildew or the faint noise of footsteps behind us triggers our fight or flight response. When you use these techniques in writing, you turn the ordinary into something menacing. Chapter 6: The Waiting Game. How to control the desire for resolution. Suspense thrives on delay. The longer you make your readers wait for answers, the more they feel the pressure of unresolved questions. This waiting game can be just as tense as the action itself. One method is to stretch out the mystery by withholding key pieces of information. In The Silence of the Lambs, the build-up of Hannibal Lecter's past and his motives isn't fully revealed until the right moment, keeping the audience hooked. A study from the American Journal of Psychology suggests that humans are wired to seek closure, and the longer the wait, the more intense that desire becomes. It's why we often binge-watch shows. The suspense builds so much that we feel compelled to keep watching. As a writer, you can exploit this by giving just enough information to keep your audience invested, but not enough to satisfy them. By doing this, you create an irresistible pull that keeps them turning the pages, unable to stop until they get the resolution they crave. Subscribe for more tips and techniques on mastering suspense in writing and keep your readers hooked from the first page to the last. These 6 chapters explore the key strategies that can turn a simple story into a suspense-filled journey. Each one delves into a specific technique for mastering the art of suspense, offering you tools to keep your readers on the edge of their seats, hanging on every word.